What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. We just got confirmation that we're getting even more class changes and even some nerfs to Gnomeregan coming with next week's maintenance. So without further ado, guys, let's dive in. So we have a post here from Kaivax, the community manager, stating, as we continue to monitor class performance and player feedback in Season of Discovery, we've designed the following tuning adjustments, which we intend to implement with scheduled weekly maintenance. So first up on the list of our changes here, we have Druids. We have Lifebloom mana cost is being reduced by 50%, with some developer notes stating that Lifebloom refunds half of its new base mana cost per stack when it expires or it's dispelled. This part has always functioned in this way, and we've seen a bit of confusion around how the mana return portion of Lifebloom functions. We have Living Seed now heals for 50% of the critical heal that planted the seed, was 30%, so that's a 20% buff right there. This heal now blooms from non-periodic healing received in addition to any damage taken. Nourish's mana cost has been reduced by 27%, and Moonkin form now also reduces the cost of Moonfire by 50% and increases Moonfire periodic damage by 50%. Sunfire also benefits from this change, so a nice buff there to Moonfire and Sunfire, a little bit less mana to cast and a little bit more damage. Moonkins now can cast non-healing restoration spells without canceling their shapeshift. This includes Remove Curse, Remove Poison, Abolish Poison, Innervate, Rebirth, Revive, Mark of the Wild, and Gift of the Wild. Fury of Stormrage improved. When this rune makes Healing Touch an instant cast, it now also makes it castable in all shapeshift forms. Moving on now to everyone's favorite, the Hunter. Dual Wield Specialization no longer grants a 30% damage bonus to Raptor Strike for wielding two weapons of the same type. So what does this mean? We are not 100% sure. I'm not a Hunter main, but I can now see Hunters going for my axe off of Thermoplug and going to two-handers, but we will have to wait and see. Hopefully their BIS is still the one-handers. As for Paladin, we have Crusader Strike now deals holy damage instead of physical damage, ignoring armor, and is now affected by holy damage prevention. Crusader Strike is still considered a melee attack and not a spell. Seal of the Martyrdom can no longer trigger Art of War and will no longer be triggered by Frost Oil or other weapon procs. So that's a pretty big buff to Crusader Strike, especially for Gnomer. Now that it's going to be holy damage instead of physical damage, like they stated here, it's going to be completely ignoring armor, which is the main problem inside Gnomer for all of our melee DPS. As for Rogues, Redirect no longer triggers or is affected by the global cooldown, and its own cooldown has been reduced to 10 seconds. So Redirect being taken off the global cooldown, that's pretty huge, with some developer notes here stating that when Redirect is combined in a macro with other combo point related abilities, it often does not function as expected. We recommend not including it in such macros. Main Gauche now generates 3 combo points on your target, and its base energy cost has been reduced to 15. Just a Flesh Wounds threat bonus increased such that Rogue's tanks will generate approximately 30% more threat. That's a massive bonus to their threat gaining from just a Flesh Wound right there. And next up we have Shamans. Two-handed Mastery Rune now also provides 10% increased attack power and 10% increased chance to hit with spells after hitting a target with a two-handed weapon. Shamanistic Rage Rune now grants 5% of the Shaman's maximum mana per second instead of a value scaling from attack power, spell power, or healing power. Spirit of the Alpha Rune now grants the casting Shaman 20% increased attack power if they cast a spell on a target other than themselves. Earthshield's mana cost has been reduced by 67%, and charges increased from 3 to 9. The base amount healed now properly scales with level and is about 50% higher than previously at level 40. Power Surge tooltip revised to clarify functionality. This rune periodically grants mana every 5 seconds, equal to 15% of the Shaman's intellect. Some potential timing issues that could have sometimes made it give less mana than intended have now been fixed. Ancestral Guidance cooldown reduced to 1 minute, down from 2, and then the part that everyone has been waiting for, we have some updates to Gnomeregan. Well, technically, one update. The increased armor value of certain mechanical bosses in Gnomeregan has been reduced slightly, with some developer notes here stating that the higher armor values on certain mechanical enemies in Gnomeregan were correct and intended. But we will adjust the armor on Crowd Pummeler 960 and Thermoplug slightly to provide up to a 10% increase in physical damage received, depending on modifiers present. We also checked the mechanical menagerie, and it is using the correct armor values. So there you have it, folks. We finally got a little bit of a nerf to the armor inside Gnomeregan. Well, technically Crowd Pummeler and Thermoplug. I'm excited about this because I'm maining Warrior, and to be completely honest, this is how it's felt right there. That's how it's felt. What's on the screen right now, what you're looking at is exactly how it feels to play Warrior for me right now. If you're fully world buffed and fully consumed, you can pump, but you just simply feel really, really weak. The high armor values in the raid really are killing it for me on my Warrior. I know Warriors are always overpowered, and it's, you know, it's about time. Yada, yada, yada. We want the Warriors to be at the bottom for once. I get it. I completely get it. But it just really isn't fun to play right now. And I'm going to be actually leveling up my Warlock. But with these changes, it might get a little bit better. But the fact that Warriors are literally at the bottom with Feral Druids, Ret Pallies, Range Hunters, and Frost Mages, I don't know. Me personally, it doesn't feel good. I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to be like, hey, it's about time Warriors not top. I get it. And that's completely fine. But I do think these changes are definitely welcome. It's really not fun to be fully world buffed, fully consumed up, and be hitting a boss for like 110 while you're watching your Warlock hit Chaos Bolts for 2400 damage. So it's just, that is where I think it's a little bit too much. You know, remember in BFD where casters were having a really hard time on Kelris because of the resistances, and then they lowered the resistances of everything in the raid to help them out. So this is a nice little change, and I'm glad that Blizzard is paying attention to this. So I'm excited to see what it's like after next Tuesday on my Warrior. But let me know what you guys think about these changes. I think they're pretty good. I really, a lot of changes for Druids in there, a lot of Druid changes. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. And if you want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.